Guys, I have no idea what is going on with my recording software, but I'm so upset that I cannot have this breakdown on video. But nonetheless, please stick around for this. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I am praying that next week I can have this back on video. Now, I'll see you guys in the rest of the show.
That's how we play rugby. That is how the Springboks play rugby. If you thought we played rugby any other way, you're wrong, mate. 43-10 at Wellington in a historic victory. Wow, wow, wow. What a 80 minutes of rugby we saw in that game from both teams. Honestly, I am fresh off of watching the game, so endorphins are up here. The hype is up here right now. And wow, I could not have asked for a better way to start my morning than to see the Springboks defeat the All Blacks in their back garden at Wellington. There is so much to uncover in this game. It is unbelievable. I will try get to everything, but I will move as quickly as possible. Now, starting the game off, what a way the Bucks started the game off. It was in lightning speed. In the first 2 minutes of the game, we spent a minute and a half in their 22, threatening a try-scoring opportunity, which got disallowed, fairly, of course. But this game was almost a complete reverse of last game, and then even more towards the end of the second half, where we saw the Springboks with ball in hand look the better party by every single metric today. And especially in that first half, it's so unfortunate we didn't score more. The scoreline could have been well into the 50s if those two tries were allowed in the first half. Now, unfortunately, Sasha Van Bergen going off kind of caused there to be a bit of a disjointedness. But once Muddy Lubbock got himself into the game, we saw a phenomenal game from Muddy Lubbock. And all hats off to Muddy Lubbock for the way he came on, took control of the game, and was able to move the Springboks in a significantly more positive direction. Now, let us look at the statistics of this game because, folks, we have much to talk about. The Springboks today entered the New Zealand 22 a total of about 12 times and were able to average 3.5 points per entry, which is absolutely phenomenal, with the All Blacks only being able to enter our 22 4 times and then them only being able to manage a 1.7 score per entry, showing that the what you call tides have completely turned from the previous weeks. Now, South Africa in this game had a significant, and I mean significant, amount of territory. I wrote down here while I was busy watching the game. You can call me a rugby nerd if you want for writing down stats during games. But after 15 minutes of the game, South Africa had 85% of the territory. Now, that is quite significant. Now, looking at the final stats, we spent about, I'd say, 57% of the game was played in the New Zealand half. So around 57-59% of the game was played in the New Zealand half. We had about 53% of the possession, and New Zealand having about 47% of the possession. And then that allowed us to really put them under pressure. Now, we'll get to the kicking stats later on, but South Africa, by the time the second half, the first half had ended, had only kicked 9 times in total, while New Zealand managed to kick 16 times. So I was worried that we were going to drift away from our kicking game. But then looking at the end of the game, South Africa were able to manage 31 kicks to the All Blacks' 30 kicks. Now, I think that is due to the fact that the All Blacks in the first half were under significant pressure territorially, and as well our blitz defense for the most times in disrupting the New Zealand's attacking force managed to work about 60% of the time, with even times of Ches and Colby intercepting a try. So the blitz defense worked a lot, and the blitz defense did show some weaknesses where we get caught in a situation where we've rushed up, but a Bowden Barrett or a Damien McKenzie or Jordy Barrett have held onto the ball for that extra second, and then we see on the other side of the wing a player is completely open, whether it be who was it? Carter today had a great game from New Zealand. Whether it was Carter or it was Will Jordan, them having space out on the wings. But nonetheless, our rush defense did in fact work today. Now, moving on to the set pieces, they were even when it came to scrums. New Zealand were able to win 100% of their own scrums. We only managed to win 88%, but that was only due to the fact that we gave away a silly penalty at the scrum for initiating pressure and then collapsing. But the line out, we won 79% of them. Not great still. We need to be in that 85% region, but the line out did work significantly better this week than it did in previous weeks. Now, we looked a lot more secure in the line out with the ball going to the Ruan Norkia hands, the back jumper, more so than the front jumper. But we also were able to disrupt the New Zealand line out today in having players like Peter Steph Toy, Arge Steyman, disrupting their fluidity. And then also, because of the pressure we were giving them at the set piece, we saw New Zealand a couple of times give away two penalties at the line out. So for sure this week, the line out coaches, Dwayne Vermeulen, they did a lot of research on what the All Blacks do at line-out time, and they did phenomenally well today. Now, moving on to the attacking statistics, South Africa made 316 post-contact meters, meaning that over a tackle, they were able to gain 316 meters throughout the game. Now, it is important to note that for whatever reason, the Springboks had less passes than the New Zealand. New Zealand managed to have a pass tally of 184 passes to South Africa's 152 passes. Now, that could simply be because of the fact that we had more ball in hand and were actually breaking the lines more than them. But it is very shocking to see that the team that came out on top didn't have more passes. I actually haven't seen that before. Now, moving on to the turnovers, this is actually a worrying point for me. By the time the first half was over, South Africa had totaled up to 16 turnovers lost, as opposed to New Zealand's 5, which is not great at all. And by the time the game had ended, South Africa tallied over 24 turnovers lost to New Zealand's 14. That is still something that is very worrying for me, that we're giving away so many turnovers, and in key moments, it is coming back to affect us. Now, in today's game, we were able to make a mistake and then come back and bounce back immediately from that mistake. But in games like against Ireland or France or even New Zealand again, we might not get as lucky as we did today. Well, not lucky, but we might not be able to swing the momentum in the way that we were able to swing it today. But that is 100% something that I'm telling you, the Springbok camp are going to be working on: the discipline at the breakdown and the discipline with ball in hand. I mean, so many handling errors. It was absolutely atrocious. I think 8 handling errors by the time the first half was done. It was absolutely ridiculous how bad our handling was. But obviously, we won the game, so it's like, who cares? But going into the next game against Argentina and against France and Ireland and Scotland later on in the year, us playing in wetter conditions, we're going to need to get better with ball in hand. Now, this game was 100% won and lost in the middle of the field. I thought it was going to be at the breakdown or at the lineout, but my goodness. Now, Tony Brown has come under a lot of criticism for his attacking style, and has been many times been said that this cannot work against the top teams. The forward pack is not agile, it's not fit enough to be able to manage in those games. But today, what we saw was a forward pack, a midfield who were up for this challenge and were up to face the All Blacks going tit for tat in terms of attacking. Now, I was very worried after that first about 25 minutes of play. I saw a couple of our forwards looking pretty tired, but they were able to manage through the entire first half and then into the kind of 10 or so, 15 minutes or so into the second half. I was very worried about the fitness of the forwards, but nonetheless, they came up on top and they showed why that this style of rugby does actually work. But also, it wasn't just Tony Brown rugby and then not us playing South African DNA rugby, right? We saw a mixture of crash balls. We saw a mixture of kicking when we didn't exceed past the gain line. We saw us having very intricate strike plays, which obviously the backline have been working on for ages now. So are we seeing this synergy finally coming together where we're able to be physically dominant, but then also able to look absolutely silky smooth in the midfield with ball in hand? For me, this was the first signs of what the Springboks have been trying to do since the start of the Rugby Championship, where we look scintillating and smoky with ball in hand, but we are also ferocious at the point of contact. Now, for me, the stand-up players today, jeepers. In the forward pack, Sia Khaleesi today, absolutely immense, phenomenal captain's performance. Then you also have players like Kobus Visa, sorry. Yes, Kobus Visa, who we were missing 100%. We were missing. Is it? No, it's not Kobus. Oh my goodness. Jasper Visa. Missing. We've been missing Jasper Visa, a specialist 8. His carries off of the kickoff today were phenomenal. Every single time he got the ball off of a kickoff, he exceeded the gain line and allowed us to get ball security. Now, moving on to the back line. Unfortunately, he went off in the first half, but Sasha Feinberg and Gomer Zulu, for the time he spent on the pitch, was absolutely cooking. He was on fire, but nonetheless, he went off due to a head contact. But then Mani Lubbock came onto the field, and Mani Lubbock, for that first 10 minutes he was on the field, kind of looked like he was trying to get a grip of the game speed. He didn't really look like himself, but from time he got a grip of the game, jeepers, did Mani Lubbock play well. Damian Willemse, wow. Damian Willemse today in that 12 jersey. Now, obviously, he's played 12 for the Stormers, but today, a player who is lacking confidence, who's been lacking confidence for a while now, to come out against New Zealand when our backs are against the wall, when we need to win this game by a bonus point, comes out and pulls off a performance like that? Jeepers. Damian Willemse today, for me, is my man of the match. And him as well getting a try in the way he did. Damian Willemse, nah. Hats off, mate. Absolutely hats off. Now, you did have your couple rotten eggs, but that doesn't... No, it does matter, actually. Kobus Reinach gave away 3 knock-ons from the back of breakdowns. 3 knock-ons. In a different game, maybe they score from those three opportunities. But it is simply not good enough. It is simply not good enough that Kobus Reinach gave away 3 knock-ons. Things that could have been fully avoided. Every single one I saw, it's him taking his eyes off of the ball before he makes a pass. As a scrum half, the first thing you're taught is making sure that you have ball security at the breakdown. Not the first thing you're taught, but a big part of your job as a scrum half is making sure that you have ball security at the base of the breakdown. And unfortunately, we do not get that from Kobus Reinach today. But nonetheless, his box kicks were pretty good. His decision making was really good. And all in all, I'd probably give him a decent rating in terms of how he played. But then you have players who we haven't really seen before, like Ethan Hooker. Ethan Hooker today, my. Every single high ball he went up for, he won. In his defensive duties, he won all of his defensive duties. In his attacking duties, he was able to beat his man on 5 out of 8 occasions. Ethan Hooker today, wow. An amazing line break to get us to the second half of the field and then allowing us to score a try. The wing position is in a significantly phenomenal position. And you can see the smile on my face right now. I couldn't be more happy for many reasons right now. Number one is that we've seen that this is the Springboks' first, and yes, the first convincing performance I've seen us play all year. I don't count any of the Italy tests or the Georgia test or the Barbarians game. This is the first one for me where I'm like, wow, okay, this thing actually works. This style of play actually works. We can manage this style of play. And I'm also smiling because the amount of heat and hate that I have been copying in the comment sections of my videos have been unbearable. They've been funny, and then they don't get to me. You can keep them coming, but the amount of heat I've been copying, because I'm a loud, confident South African Springbok supporter, and I will always back the Springboks. And when we lose, the rest of the world lets us know that we've lost. And this last week has been like I've never seen before. But this week, the Springboks are victorious in Wellington, 43-10 to the All Blacks. Now, I want to know what you guys' opinions of this game are. Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you love rugby, if you're a true rugby fan, subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, and I will see you guys at the next video. I am going to try and make a more technical breakdown of this game because I think there's a lot to talk about. But nonetheless, like this video, subscribe to the video, and I will see you in the next episode of Retang Does Sports.